Alright, hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. It's Kenya here with Fulfilling Purpose with Kenya. My mission statement in life is to help people reach their full potential through Christ. And that's what this channel is for, and I like to mix in some beauty and some lifestyle things in there as well. Before I get into today's video, if you are someone who's interested in wigs, bundles, hair extensions, anything like that, I have a hair company called the Shopiseda Hair Collection. It is purpose driven, and everything that we do, from the packaging to the customer experience, what we put out, everything we put out is purpose driven. And if you want more from a hair company, definitely check out the Shopiseda Hair Collection, because we're here for you. And customer service is important to us, and quality assurance is important to us. Having bomb hair while also trying to uplift you guys and get you guys to fulfill your purpose in life is what the Shopiseda Hair Collection is all about. So if you are interested in that, definitely head over to the shopisedacollection.com, sign up for the newsletter. You get 10% off your first purchase, and you also get purpose messages every week. Go to shopisedacollection.com to be involved in our purpose-driven family. Okay. All right, so today's video is going to be an updated favorite podcast video. Like, if you guys don't know me already, I love podcasts. I have previous podcast videos on my channel, but this one is the best one for sure. These podcasts right here are some pretty good podcasts, okay? And it's funny because my last podcast video, I was at home, and now I'm at home at my parents' house. So it was kind of funny, like, being back doing the same video, and I wasn't like meaning to do that either, but it just worked out that way. I'm trying to be really intentional with what I bring into my life, what I listen to, what I absorb, you know, through my ears and my eyes and everything like that. And podcast is something that's definitely changed up a lot. As you know, I've grown in Christ and everything like that. Went from listening to, you know, like new age yoga kind of podcasts to, you know, Christ in business podcast, or Christ in politics podcast. So let's get into this. All right. So my number one favorite podcast is the Blessed and Bossed Up podcast. I've talked about this all the time in most of my videos, but this is a life-changing podcast for real. I listened to it when it was Black Girl Bosses, and just like see where it is now is just so powerful and so encouraging. So this podcast is hosted by Tatum Tamia, and she blends entrepreneurship with God, because those two things are definitely supposed to be intertwined together, contrary to what a majority of people tend to believe. There's a weekly podcast on whatever topic that God tends to lead her to, and they're always fire, always like make you think. They always just get you like in the right mindset, like they get you together. Like, her podcasts are super deep, like none of that surface level stuff. We don't do that around here, okay? And she will tell you the truth. She will tell you about yourself. That's how things should be, period. You should not be going to the same church throughout the year and you still the same person. Like, and that's what this podcast is. So like I said, I've listened to this for years, like 2018, and it's 2020 now, and I changed so much. Like, my mindset, mentally, my relationship with God, everything like that has changed so much. So huge shout out to her and her podcast for that, and for just being obedient and being obedient to what God is telling her to do and what God leads her to do, and just being obedient no matter what. Like, shout out to her. The rest of them, they're not really in like a particular order, I would say. So the next one is called God-Centered Success, and that is by Mia Renee Davies. And that podcast is for entrepreneurs who are looking to fulfill their purpose in life, and they want to be successful. Whatever success means to you, her podcast covers those kind of topics. She's super passionate about the word and the truth. Like, you can hear it in her voice whenever you listen to the podcast. You're just like, you can tell she loves Jesus. Like, you can just tell she loves Jesus. And the next podcast is Real Talk by my Pastor Philip Mitchell, and his wife Lena Mitchell. And when I tell you they speak powerful truth, they speak powerful truth, okay? None of these podcasts, like, if you listen to any of these podcasts, you should not leave the same way you entered listening to the podcast, because all of them are just like make you question things, make you like, why have I been doing this so like normally? Why have I never questioned why I do these things? It will lead you to growth. They talk faith, family, marriage, parenting, culture, and anything the Lord leads them to. The only thing is they don't post often, but when they do, you know it's gonna be fire. And everything they say is fire. Just amen and grab whatever they say, amen and grab it, receive it, period. And the next podcast is called Relatable by Ali B. Stuckey. She talks about theology and politics from a Christian point of view. And I like to listen to this podcast when I'm in like a political mood. Like I said in my last video, in my God and politics video, I love politics. I enjoy it a lot because she says a lot of things that I was not aware of either. So yeah, that's a great podcast. And I like her because she kind of like sass to her. She has a sass to her. And I love a little sassiness. Nothing wrong with a little sassiness. Sassy and classy, okay? Okay, my next podcast is called the Candace Owens Show. Someone who's involved in politics a lot. But her podcast is not even like her talking for the most part. Like she talks, she speaks stuff and stuff, but every single one of her podcasts has a different guest, which is really cool because it like opens my mind to like different things I would never thought about. And this is one episode, I cannot remember, but it was so beautiful, y'all. Like the episode was about this guy, he works for like the national security or something like that, and he ended up making his own nonprofit where he like rescues children from children that are being like human trafficked, and he rescues them. He just saves them from that situation, which is so nice. And he talks about how like he actually adopted like a brother and a sister, I think. Yes, this is what we should be doing in the world. Yes. So that's a great podcast if you like want to hear different views. And she has different political views on there as well. If you want to hear more about that, then definitely check her out. Got me. But basically this podcast is political, and they have conversations, they have debates about controversial issues. The next podcast is called the Fashionpreneur Diaries by Irregular Jess, or in other words, Jessica Williams. So I'm not a designer, I'm not a stylist, I don't be into fashion like that, but just hearing her business tips, and like she's really good when it comes to like marketing, like social media, just like digital marketing, everything like that. She's really good at that. So I like to hear her tips. But I like that she mentions her faith in there, as well as like the fashion, as well as the business parts of her. Like she's just an all around just phenomenal person. I love her accent. Like I think she has like she said she's from Boston, so her Boston accent like really comes out in there, and it just sounds so, I don't know, it's kind of soothing to my ears for some reason. And something that is also like cool about her is that she has 9 streams of income before turning 30. Like, yes ma'am. And the next podcast that I really enjoy is the Refill podcast. This podcast is hosted by Letitia Carr to replenish and just refill as you're thriving, as you're reaching those goals. For the most part, I feel like I'm pretty good at self-care, but sometimes, not every day is a perfect day. And when I do feel drained, I do like to listen to her podcast just to make sure like I'm on the right track, just to make sure like I am taking care of myself in the right ways. She's also faith-based, which is a necessity. And just some honorable mentions that I would just like to throw out there as well will have to be A Lady by Alea D and the Christian Bae podcast. So yeah, these are all my podcasts that I enjoy listening to. I'm definitely going to link them down below and everything like that. If you guys check them out, definitely let me know, like, what do you think? Be sure you hit that like button, for the algorithm, so these videos can get pushed out to the right people who need them. I hope you guys are all being safe. I hope you guys are all, using this time for the best and really developing and honing, like learning your skill sets, learning what you're good at, reading books. Thank you guys for watching. If you watched all the way to this point, I really appreciate it. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.